If God would reveal himself to you, what do you think would be the first statement he would make? Wake up? What would it be? Actually, when Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, stood before the burning bush and God revealed himself for the first time, God told him, Shal ne'alecha me'al raglecha. Take off your shoes. What type of a conversation do you start with that sentence? And why did God tell him, take off your shoes? Well, Moses, when he saw the bush burning but not being consumed, he realized this is not a tree, this is a bush. Actually, it's a bush with a bunch of thorns in the bush. You see, the big trees represent those who are elevated in their wisdom, in their connection with God. A bush represents someone which is simple, somebody which is a little more coarse. The flame represents the love and the passion we have for God. Moses looks at the bush and says, I don't understand. How is it possible for a coarse, simple individual to have such a fire of love burn in his heart? To this, God tells him, Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha. Take off your shoes. You see, the purpose of shoes is to take away the sensitivity of the foot so that when you walk on the floor, you don't feel what's under your foot. Take off your shoes. Become more sensitive to the plight of the Jewish people. Realize that every single one of them, as far as they might look, as simple as they might seem, they have a burning fire of love for God. And this is a lesson for every single one of us. Sometimes we meet people and we don't realize that the simplest people sometimes have the greatest connection to God. And that's why our sages teach us to be very, very humble. Why should you be humble in front of somebody that knows less than you and maybe doesn't have the level of understanding or connection that you have? Well, the Alter Rebbe explains that when you realize that that person might have a burning desire to do negative things and he controls himself, his service to God is a much greater service. His way of connecting is much greater because he toils more. You see, the big mistake we make, especially with our kids, is that we reward the grades that they get, not the efforts they make. So when it comes to another person, look deep down inside and realize that their effort might be greater than yours. Become more sensitive to them, and then you'll learn how to be truly humble.